Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Between My Therapist and I. And today we are talking about Mother's Day. We're specifically going to be talking about how you can use the 5 love languages to express your love and affection for your mother or your mother figure. And I'm going to give you some tips. So feel free to stay tuned. Click on the little button to subscribe if you like what we have in the content, and the little bell if you'd like to hear whenever we have new content available in our podcast. So let's get started. It's going to be a short, quick podcast. Since tomorrow's Mother's Day, I'm going to try to make it something that either you can do right away or that you can actually plan for next weekend or the weekend after, etc., etc. So the first love language that I'm going to use is, of course, acts of service. And what is Mother's Day for mothers and mother figures if it's not a day to rest and recover and to kind of just take a little break from all of the amazing things that mothers do on a day-to-day basis? So something that I like to suggest on Mother's Day for acts of service in particular is think of not just your typical, I'm going to do the dishes or I'm going to bring breakfast in bed. Those things are great, but take it a little bit further. Think about that honey-do list that she's been asking for a while and you haven't been able to get a hold of, haven't been able to complete, and think of something on that list that you feel would really make her happy. And that's an awesome way to show genuine appreciation for your mom and your mother figure in a way that you know for sure that she's going to be happy. So do I recommend maybe also like a little something extra, like a card or like flowers? Sure, but take it a step further and think of the things that she's been talking about that would really make her feel heard and appreciated, and see if you can do one of those things, whether it's something around the house, whether it's something in the garage, whether it's maybe she's been dying to, this is something I heard just the other day when I was with a patient. She's older and she really wanted to redo her garden. And just kind of like plant new flowers and like put down mulch and stuff like that. And that's not something that she can do on her own because she's older now. And so her children are going to do that for her. So it's those types of things that I'm talking about when you want to go a little bit, just a step further with the acts of service. The next one is words of affirmation. So an excellent way to use the love language of words of affirmation is to write a letter, write a card, to say I love you frequently throughout the day. If you don't have like a poetic mind where you can express yourself in a how would I say, eloquent or maybe like romantic way, then Google poems, loving poems for mothers or loving quotes for mothers, and write her a letter, write her a note. An awesome way to do this and to take it just a little bit further and make it a little bit more special is write the notes and like do multiple little notes or multiple little quotes and like maybe hide them around the house, and so that she is surprised by them throughout the day. That's a cute little way to like constantly remind her throughout the day of how special she is. So that's words of affirmation. And of course, like if you have a chance to like during dinner, sit down with her and maybe the rest of the family, and you can do a toast to her, etc., etc. The next one is physical touch. So the next one that we're going to talk about is everybody thinks of physical touch as maybe like a sexual thing, but it's not necessarily that at all. Physical touch is a hug, like genuinely giving your mother or your mother figure a loving embrace, holding her hand, giving her a kiss. Another thing that you can do is you can schedule for her to have a massage. You can schedule for her to have a facial, those kinds of things, like, things that involve physical touch that maybe would bring her just relief. So a chiropractor visit or those sorts of things are excellent for physical touch. Something interesting too that I'm thinking off the top of my head just now, dancing. Like taking her out dancing, if she's the type of person that enjoys that, like taking her out dancing or even putting music in the house. I know this from my own mom, and maybe it's because, the Latino in me, but like there's also like, you have a lot of African Americans that love this kind of thing, like Haitians and Jamaicans and a lot of those types of moms and mother figures. They love to be taken out in the dance floor. You're doing the barbecue or the dinner, or you're just hanging out at home and, put something on and like kind of take her out and just help her have a little bit of fun. So that's on physical touch. The next one is gifts. And gifts are, of course, the obvious thing for Mother's Day. But if you want to elevate the gift, here's something that I've always thought. Whenever I try to give a gift, I don't ever want to consider the idea of what would I like, but you always want to consider the idea of what would they like. What is something that goes along with their personality? What's something that maybe they've asked for before? What is something that matches well with their hobbies, etc., etc. And something that I noticed this time around with Mother's Day also is that sometimes you might think that your budget for gift giving it kind of limits you. But if you get creative and you think outside the box a little bit, you might find that the same amount of money that you would have spent in something that you thought was a cheaper gift can be used in a more creative way. So I'll give you an example. I was thinking of giving my mom something that she loves. This is a staple between her and I. We give each other edible arrangements often. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at the edible arrangement, and the price of it with flowers was a little over $126. And that was with the fruit, the flower, and then the shipping or the delivery. And I thought, okay, that makes sense, that's understandable. But at the same time, I thought, man, I always give her this, and it's it's been done so many times. I really don't know. Maybe I want to think outside the box a little bit. So I went on the app that I usually get for hotels, and I looked, and I was totally expecting to find astronomical prices on hotels for Mother's Day weekend, and I was really surprised. For $126, actually for $96, there were hotels available like 4-star spa hotel with like studio apartments that you could house like 6-7 people in it, with massage and with spa services and with like restaurants, all kinds of things in our general area. And I was just blown away. I was like, that's something that I never in my life would have thought was going to be within $120 budget. And yeah, of course, you would budget for a little extra expenses that you're going to have that day. But imagine how much nicer it is to say, hey, Mom, here's a hotel room for the day and night. We come in at 2 p.m, leave tomorrow at noon, and you get to sleep. We get to come spend all this time, all of us together. We have restaurants here, we have spas here, we have all these different things here, and you don't have to lift a finger, you don't have to clean. We come back home, nobody's made a mess, everything's great. And on top of that, you get to really enjoy having the awesome bathtub, you get to have the pool, there's all kinds of things. So I thought, think outside the box and don't limit your thinking when it comes to giving a gift simply because you think your budget is too tight, because you might be surprised. So what have we done so far? We've done acts of service, physical touch, gifts, words of affirmation, and the last one is words of affirmation. The best, and the last one's the best one, quality time. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. Okay, quality time. Moms love quality time with their kids. How can they not? Yes, especially if they're not having to do anything that distracts them from quality time. Yes. Make sure that you set aside the day tomorrow, or if you're busy tomorrow, don't leave it for another day. Don't leave it, how should I say, just don't leave it aside forever. Don't say, oh, well, I didn't have a chance on Mother's Day to really set aside quality time for Mom, so I'm just never going to do it. No, even if you can't do it on Mother's Day, every day can be Mother's Day. Your mom is an amazing person, an amazing figure in your life. So any day at all, if possible, doesn't have to be tomorrow. Quality time. Take her to a concert. Just the two of you. Take her to a movie. Take her out to for drinks together. Go walk around how do you say, an outside market. Go together to get manicures and pedicures. Just go have brunch together. Just set aside a few hours together, and it's just the two of you. Turn the phones down. Just connect. And I'm talking even if you are a son with a mother, you can go to a concert with your mom. Even if you're a man, you can go to a concert with your mom. You can still go to the movies with your mom. You can still go out to dinner with your mom. You can still go out to brunch with your mom. You can still go out for drinks with your mom. You can go to a game if she likes games like basketball games, football games, whatever. You guys can do that together. But quality time, especially if you're older. And when I mean older, I'm talking if you are 15 and older. Because by the time you get to be 15, by the time you get to be in your early teens, the quality time really goes down just out the wall. Really goes out the window. It really goes out the window with your mom and with your dad. Because you got your own thing going on, and it's just life happens, etc., etc. But I know they miss it. I get parents that come all the time. They tell me, they say, I just, my kid's not the same anymore. We just don't spend time anymore. It really makes a difference. So, a few hours together, just you guys, it's the best thing. So, one last time, you got the 5 love languages, top tips. Make sure it's genuine. Make sure everything that you do, from the smallest little thing to the grand gestures, make sure they're from the heart. Make sure that they're just something that you've thought of, something that you've asked yourself, what would she really like? What would she really appreciate? Even if you don't agree on it, even if you don't think that it makes any sense, but if it would make her happy, then that's the most important thing. And I hope everybody enjoys their Mother's Day tomorrow, and that everybody enjoys their mother. And, there's a lot of people that don't get to have their mothers or mother figures in their lives tomorrow. And I know that can be really, really tough. And even if you don't, and for those that don't, I just want to say, even if you don't have them physically with you, I know that they're with you in spirit, because I know that our mothers, they'll always be with us no matter what. So I hope this was helpful and that you enjoyed the content, and you come back and check out our other videos, and I will be seeing you around. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.